Alright, folks. May regret this, but we're going to try to do a U-turn here. First time in an automatic. Hopefully not drop it. Woo-hoo-hoo, did it! We still got it. Whoo! Laid the peg down, baby. That's what we're talking about. Oh, God, did a U-turn. Automatic. I made it happen. Pretty tight, I think. It was pretty good. Had to see what it looks like on film, baby. Woo! All right, so a little hesitant there. I had to straighten it out for a minute. I was just using the back brake in tour mode, not rain mode, and easy throttle, and then I just looked and turned and laid it over, and it seemed to work out pretty good. So, time will tell. We'll have to see what we can do for U-turns. We got to do some practicing, baby. Pretty happy with it, though. That's a pretty tight U-turn out of there like that. I think the biggest thing is having the trust of the bike that you're not going to go down. That's what I did toward the right there, and I started hesitating. Like, fucking, I leaned it over and went. So I need a little practice, but still the head and eyes. Still got the brake. It's still in the friction zone. I just got to remember I got the throttle. And that means I have power going to the rear wheel constant, which should keep me up no matter what. Now I just got to learn how to do it in tighter spots. So, we will have to start practicing that every so often. Wah, 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 wah. Woo! Well, April 2nd has come and gone as far as work is related. On my way home now. Yep. Not a bad day, but this has been one long goddamn week. I can tell you what. Just can't believe how long it's taken to get through the week. Horrible. But we're making it. Biggest problem I'm really having is trying to keep people at a social distance from me at work, and it's damn near impossible at that place. They just don't seem to have any boundaries. They want to come right up and fucking talk to you every time. Don't get it. Not too bad out tonight. About 43 degrees or so. Pretty good for a spring day. Personally, 215 miles on the bike. Not bad, considering I'm really not allowed to go anywhere for work and back. I really can't wait to start getting some practice on U-turns and stuff on this, because I think I really need it, because I'm really used to having a clutch. And I gotta remember I don't have that friction zone, so I gotta remember to trust the bike, the fact that this bike can lean. And I gotta tip it over, and I gotta leave constant pressure on the throttle without goosing it. I think that's where it's at. Yep. Cut the wind down a little bit. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this goes. I mean, we are up to a lot of people dying so far in the U.S. 244,000, I think, are tested positive for the coronavirus. And I want to say, God, I know we're well above 5,000 deaths now. It's horrible. I know they say it's probably going to peak here in the next 2 weeks. I just don't know. Something tells me it's going to keep on going until they figure out a way to stop it. Bad disease. Bad virus, bad virus. Yep. I touched this thing in the sport mode last night a little bit on the way home. It's almost scary how freaking jumpy it gets in sport mode. I actually had to turn it back to tour. It's dark out. And, I mean, as fast as this thing will cover ground in sport mode, I'd be a little weary of the deer running out. So, definitely something you want to save for daylight. For sure. For sure. So my understanding is, and I can't remember if I talked about this in the video earlier today, but if I did, I'm sorry. I'll edit it out of that one, put it in this one. That the Insta360 One R that I presently have, the 360 camera, and it's also a 4K block version. Because they also make that 1-inch camera version, the 1-inch sensor, I think, which, if everything's equal, I think is going to blow GoPro out of the water for video clarity, especially at night, because it's going to have a low light visibility built in. It'll be able to take that because it'll have more sensor area to pick up the pixels at night. Because presently, the 4K version, the night, I mean, I haven't tried it out on the bike or anything with headlights and stuff, but in my room and stuff, in a house and stuff like that, I've noticed it's pretty noisy. You know, the grain in the film, because it's trying to make up for the light differential by using the ISO in the camera, and it's get high enough ISO, you start getting a lot of grain in the camera. That goes with film. I mean, that goes with digital photography, or also like video, digital video. It would have went the same way for film, but at that point you actually picked your ISO you used in a film camera, so you got the ISO and that's just what you got. You'd have to leave the shutter open long enough to get your picture. That's just something else totally different. But, you know, if you got a digital camera, you understand that ISO and low light capabilities of most cameras are not ideal. Like my Micro Four Thirds camera doesn't have the greatest low light capability. Now what it does have is great stabilization. So I'm actually able to take pictures in low light with a longer shutter speed and kind of skirt the edge of the fine line of that ISO and make a good looking picture. Whereas like a full frame sensor, which is a much larger sensor, which would be the same size as a 35 millimeter films section of film, that's what a full sensor would be on a camera, that would have better low light. And also usually the lower the megapixel, the better the low light is too for some reason, to a certain extent. So for instance, they have the 7R, the Sony 7R. I believe that's their low light, low light camera. They just say it's the best for full frame digital mirrorless. And that's their go-to camera for low light, and it's a 12 megapixel. Whereas I believe their other ones are up and around the 1620, and they don't have the same capability in low light as that 7R does. I think it's the way the pixels act to the how it relates to the sensor size and how the pixels take up what it takes up for each megapixel. So, I mean, I'm not like the expert on this, obviously. I seem to be mumbling and droning on about it, but that's my understanding of it. So, back to that audio thing. If the audio works really good in the 360, which would be badass, because that means I wouldn't have to rely on the Cena. I could actually use that camera, and let's say I hooked the Bluetooth up to the Cena, right? Now that make that my mic. Now let's say at the same time, if that works, I'm not saying it's going to for sure, let's say that the audio from the Cena is also working on its own film, because it's filming also. Now not only do I have a backup video no matter what on major trips, I also have a backup audio file. Maybe not as crisp as the Cena, because the Cena has the HD quality, but still, you have that backup to a backup, which is a redundant, makes it redundant, which would be awesome. And that's my hope. So I got to check that out, and I'm sure other firmware updates will make it even better. So I can't wait to see how that works and get that video out to you guys. See what it does for the motorcycle vlogging industry, more or less, on YouTube, because now you're talking about the first action camera, right? An actual action camera that has Bluetooth capability built in for the mic. No more wire on that. Now, for the longest time now, Cena's owned the market on that. Then they had the regular GoPro 3 and 4 and all those. Excuse me. You could put the backpack on it from Cena, and that gave you the HD quality audio. Well, since they've changed the GoPro, that's no longer an option. So they got the Cenas, like the 10C here, the 10C Pro, and 10C Pro Evo, I think. I mean, they make good communicators, don't get me wrong. But if this camera has good audio from a standpoint of Bluetooth capability from a communicator, right? Now we open up the possibility, see, of not being stuck with Cena only. Because maybe Cardio or a brand like that has a better interface and a better workability than Cena has. And if the audio could be crisp enough and good enough, or at least sound like a lavalier mic at the most, in the worst case, and sound decent, because audio is really important for a video. I mean, you can have bad video and you can get away with it. You have bad audio. Holy hell, they'll just fucking crucify you. But, you see my point. You might not be locked into one device anymore if you're motovlogging, which I know a lot of people just use the the wired mics and stuff still probably, and some of them use the wireless Rode mic styles and the wireless mics where you hook it into the camera and you have a wireless system that, goes to your shirt or inside your helmet. People use those too. But anyways, I'm excited about the possibilities. I'm sure it's not going to work as good as I want it to first time, but I'm hoping the firmware updates make it possible to make it better in time. So, but first we got to give it a shot and see what we get out of it, so we'll see. But I am going to just keep traveling my ass home, so I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to say keep it safe out there. Be good to one another, and I'll talk to you later. This is Moose saying keep it real. Goodbye. Campfire. Dum dum dum. Dum dum.